Have you ever been in love with a woman who made you feel like you were the luckiest man alive only to leave you shattered, confused and questioning everything? Have you ever replayed the past, wondering, was she ever real, or was I just another fool who fell for a lie? What if I told you that your ex, the woman who broke you, betrayed you, and left you doubting love itself, might just be one of these 7 types of stupid women that smart men always avoid? And what if I told you that your current girlfriend might be one of them too? This video is not just a guide, it's a wake-up call. By the end of it, you'll have no more doubts, no more excuses. You'll see the truth for what it is. And that truth? It might just change your love life forever. Before we dive into this brutally honest breakdown, subscribe to the channel and like this video, because what you're about to learn is something no one else will tell you. Now let's get into it. 1. The gold digger. Has it ever occurred to you that the woman you loved was only interested in you for what you could provide her? Have you ever committed your heart to someone like that? Perhaps she spoiled you so much that you thought you were her only concern, and she made you feel like royalty as a result. Yet when it comes down to it, basically you were an ATM on wheels. Let me introduce you to David. Having achieved success via his own efforts, someone who poured his heart and soul into building his career, his life, and his future. Lisa was the next person he met. She was the ideal woman a man could hope for. Stunning, elegant, kind, and grateful beyond words. He thought he was the luckiest man alive at first. On their way into posh restaurants, she would clutch his arm closer. "You make me feel protected. You make my life so lovely," and that's what she would tell him. "Baby, I've never met a man like you before. You're the one." That further exacerbated David's collapse. The problem with money diggers is that they aren't really in love with you. Your lifestyle is adored by them. David had a bad day on the job one evening. He hinted to Lisa that he might have to reduce his frequency of costly dates and spend more time at home. Her grin vanished into thin air. The kindness in her gaze? Gone. She departed early after making an excuse. She abruptly became too busy to meet with him the next week. The texts lost their luster. The romantic attachment suddenly vanished. Suddenly, David beheld it. Lisa was seen with someone else. The man's wealth increased. A man who could sustain her lavish way of life. Oh, he knew then. Do you remember a time when you felt like David? Do you remember a time when you were in love with a lady, but every time you were unable to satisfy her wants, she made you feel inadequate? That is not how love is expressed. It's a commercial deal. True love doesn't cost anything, thus a wise guy stays away from gold diggers. If the lady you're seeing only stays by your side when the cash starts rolling in, then my friend, you're not even dating. One of your tenants has shown interest. You shouldn't turn a blind eye if you see this and realize it's about your ex or your present relationship. The faster you can separate yourself from a woman who views you only as her money, the more room you'll have for a woman who views you as a man. 2. The drama queen. When you were with a lady, did it ever feel like you were a character in a soap opera? Just when you think she can't survive without you, she'll be embracing you. After this, screaming, sobbing, and accusing you of things that never occurred. That's what she's doing. Step right up and into the realm of the theater queen. During his time dating Sarah, this was Mark's reality. At first it seemed enchanted. She roused his senses and gave him a rush of energy. However, something became clear to Mark not long after. Can we have peace? How about stability? Sarah was not one of those people. Mark would absolutely lose it if he was even 5 minutes late responding to a text. Was he planning on going out for the evening with his pals? She would deliberately provoke him in order to spoil his evening. Would things be too quiet? For the sake of causing mayhem, she would fabricate an issue. On one occasion, she said he was unfaithful since he liked an Instagram post of his cousin. On a separate occasion, she smashed his phone after he ignored her call during a business meeting. What about each time Mark attempted to depart? She would sob uncontrollably and plead with him, stating that she couldn't live without him. Is this place familiar to you? Have you ever been in a relationship when a huge argument erupted over the smallest of things, where you had to show her how much you loved her all the time to keep her from losing it? Drama queens do not love you, and it is a harsh fact. Maintaining command is what they adore. They delight in the power that comes from repeatedly chasing you, apologizing to you, and proving yourself. Love should feel like calm, not battle. And a wise man understands better than to be involved with a drama queen. And if you're familiar with this situation, My buddy, if you've ever felt like you were ensnared in an endless loop of hurtful love, you understand completely. So I must inquire, how many times have you been awake at night thinking about the arguments and asking, why does she treat me this way? How come she can't be content being with me? The most critical question is, how much longer can you stand it? Real women don't put you in a position where you feel trapped by your romantic relationships, feeling like a king is her specialty. Leave a comment telling me how you managed to get out of that jam, if you've ever been in that situation. Is it still going on though? The fact that you're still tuning in indicates that you're beginning to make sense of things. Permit me to introduce you to the next category of women. It might be the one you were unaware posed a threat. You're the self-obsessed narcissist. Have you ever been in a relationship with a lady who told you how happy you were to have her, but never once told you how lucky she was to have you? She was already special before she existed, but you were under continual pressure to show your value. Introducing Alex, an average, honest man who yearned for nothing more than to love and be loved. And then he crossed paths with Vanessa, a lady who exuded such self-assurance and beauty that he felt like he had struck relationship gold. She had an air of effortless elegance and charisma whenever she entered a room. However, this is the point where it failed. Vanessa was upfront about being the prize right from the outset. At first, Alex only picked up on minor details. She anticipated him to spend hours listening to her story, but she never once inquired about his day. Suppose she received praise. She took everything in. What if Alex wanted a token of gratitude? An approving "why do you need validation?" would get an ear roll from her. Man up. No matter the day, he would always foot the bill. Despite posting dozens of selfies online, she never once included him in any of them. Every time we spoke, the subject veered to her aspirations, challenges, and desires. Is it his? Ignored it. Alex pondered. Perhaps if I show her more love, she'll evolve. Which is why he made more of an effort. Her presents were from him. Just so he could be there for her, he bowed out of social engagements. He lavished her with love, but she returned the favor in kind. Then, Vanessa abandoned him, because he refrained from pursuing her. That is, for the man who did not adore her. For a guy who made her feel like she wasn't important. Alex then understood the reality. He was never her beloved. Getting praised, validated, and admired was all that mattered to her. And if you're seeing this while remembering a romance from your own past, consider, when she was around you, did she ever make you feel like she was helping you out? It seems like you were usually the one pitching in, and she was the one taking. Was she able to exhaust you to the point that you felt inadequate? Thus, you were in love with a narcissist. The truth hurts, but a narcissistic woman has no interest in finding a life companion. A fan is something she desires. Love is about being in it together, not worshiping each other. Thus, a wise guy will never remain with a woman who thinks she's better than him. Have you ever dated a woman like this? Let me know in the comments. Even more crucially, how were you able to escape? This woman is far worse than the narcissist, and you're going to hear about her soon if you're still tuning in. Someone who wants to possess your spirit rather than only seek adoration. Okay, let's go on. First, the manipulator. When you loved someone, did you ever feel that you were the one who was constantly in the wrong? I felt like she could always find a way to make you feel bad about something you hadn't done. No matter what you did. Introducing Jake. He was a simple person who wanted nothing more than to see his fiancée Emma happy. She started out really nice and loving. She gushed over him saying, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me." But it all changed very quickly. Jake and his pals went out for the night. Emma got a call. Because he was engrossed in a conversation, he chose not to answer the call. After some time had passed, he noticed that his phone had 25 missed calls. Additionally, there was wording that stated, "I see how much you care about me. Enjoy your night. Don't even bother calling back." Jake didn't understand. Had he erred in any way? So he gave her a call, expressed his regret, and assured her of his undying love. It was Emma's maiden victory. That is the method used by manipulators. You feel bad about everyday things because of them, and you wind up spending all your time trying to get their favor. At another gathering, Jake witnessed Emma flirt with a man. She leapt with joy and exclaimed, "You're so insecure. It was just a joke. God, you always overreact." Jake had an epiphany at that moment. The moment she messed up, she would turn the tables on him, making him feel insane. One term for this is gaslighting. Additionally, it is among the most poisonous things a woman can do to a male. I must inquire. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where you were expected to continually justify your actions, even in the face of innocent mistakes? When you really felt bad about anything, did you ever feel compelled to apologize? Have you ever felt that you were sacrificing your own happiness to make someone else happy, even if they were never truly happy? Then you have been duped, my buddy. And the reality is, no lady worth her love would ever put you on the spot or make you feel delicate. Being human is never going to get you punished by her. She has a knack of making you feel like the right person at the wrong time. If a woman is manipulative, a wise guy will move away from her before she drives him insane. You already know what to do if you're watching this and your pulse is pumping, because it sounds just like your past relationship, or even worse, your current one. Would you, however, take the plunge? Please inform me in the space provided. Are manipulators someone you've dated before? How were you able to escape? And believe me when I say that we haven't even gotten to the half of this list of woman types yet. They might be the most perilous of all. For the validation addict. May I inquire of you something? Did you ever fall in love with a lady who demanded more from you? Greater focus. Additional praise. She was already yours and now there are other men after her. The first step is easy. Even though she claims you're the only man I love, she can't help but flirt with other men. Her internet photos appear staged so that all the men, except you, will notice them. Let me introduce you to Ryan, a faithful and kind man who yearned for a genuine connection. Following that, he crossed paths with Sophia. He felt like he was the only man in the world for a while because she was gorgeous and pleasant. However, Ryan quickly became aware of something peculiar. She seemed glued to her phone the whole time they were in the same room, using Snapchat, enjoying images of unidentified men, nodding at her computer. Ryan noticed a message appear on her phone one night. "Hello there, when are we rescheduled to meet?" He felt his heart sink. She chuckled and exclaimed, "Babe, don't be insecure," in response to his confrontation with her. All it is attention, and that is all it is. However, it is the issue. Attention is vital to someone who is addicted to affirmation. She isn't devoted to any one man. When she feels wanted, she stays faithful, and your love for her would never satisfy her insatiable appetite. Other guys will continue to be her guests. Online hunger traps will be posted by her indefinitely. She will persist in her pursuit of attention until you are but another man in her inbox. What came next? Unbroken, she will abandon you. Simply said, a validation junkie will always need more than what a man can provide, no matter how incredible he is. You may have experienced this feeling of competition for a woman's affections if you've ever been in a relationship with her. Have you ever felt like you needed to prove yourself all the time to hold her interest? Then you've probably guessed the ending by now. Rest assured, she will depart before you do if you do not depart immediately. Leave a comment telling me whether you've ever dated a lady that needs constant attention, because the next woman on the scene is the sort who will try to pin the blame squarely on you. Discussing the blame shifter is important. 6. The blame shifter. I want you to recall your most recent breakup right now. Have you ever heard your ex say these things? "I never did anything wrong. You're the one who ruined everything. If you had just loved me more, none of this would have happened." You dated a blame shifter. If any of them sound familiar, my buddy, let me introduce you to David, a diligent worker who never stopped trying to brighten Lily's day. However, his efforts were often insufficient. If he was preoccupied with his job, she said he didn't value her. Every time he got her a present, she would ask, "Why didn't you get me something better?" He was usually the one to blame whenever they had an argument. Lily betrayed him once. David was heartbroken upon learning the news. Instead of expressing regret, Lily turned the tables on her. The woman said, "I wouldn't have had to search elsewhere if you had been a better boyfriend." She transformed her treachery into his downfall in an instant. A blame shifting accomplishes precisely that. When she's incorrect, she'll never confess it. No matter what happens, she will never own up to her mistakes. Because she views herself as the victim at all times, she will never apologize. And what happens if you remain at her side? Her goal is to make you feel like you're the one who's at fault. Piece by piece, she will dissect you until you begin to apologize for things you never did. Please get out of your slumber if you've ever experienced a relationship similar to this. Your sense of self-worth will be eroded by a woman who shirks duty. A wise guy understands, without the ability to admit, I was wrong. She is unworthy of your affection. Leave a comment telling me whether you've ever been in a relationship where the lady always placed the blame on you. Why? Because the very last category of females here? Your entire life will be ruined by her, not just your emotions. Now we may discuss the carefree bachelorette, the reckless party girl. Enlighten me, please. Have you ever been head over heels for a lady who defied all attempts at control? There was joy in her presence. Inspiring she was. With her, everything seemed like a thrilling adventure. But it didn't take long for you to figure out that she was complete mayhem. Introducing Chris, someone who was looking for a serious connection. Jasmine was the next person he encountered. She embodied vitality. She never stopped smiling, dancing, and savoring every moment. To begin with, it was incredible. She led him on wild escapades. She gave him a sense of vitality. At that point, though, warning signs began to appear. She would become so drunk that she would black out, and then she would become angry if he attempted to help her. Relax, it's just fun, she would tell men she flirted with at events. For hours at a time, she would disappear and then return without a trace. And what about when Chris attempted to broach the subject with her? Laughter escaped her lips. She found him uninteresting. I simply want to live my life, she exclaimed. Just why must you be so domineering? When Chris had that epiphany, love wasn't what she was seeking. She sought a life of perpetual thrills, and no amount of his affection for her could ever make her change. Reason being, a carefree party girl is solely concerned with the here and now. The future doesn't enter her thoughts. No one is safe from her wrath. After she destroys your life, she'll act as if nothing happened. So if you're in a relationship with an adrenaline junkie, consider, how reliable is she while she's out late? Are you able to create a future with someone whose focus is solely on the here and now? Is it possible to love someone who is so carefree? The solution is known to a guy of great intelligence. Why? Because you'll have to be the one to rake up the debris when the celebration is over. Have you ever been in love with a lady who was careless? Most importantly, were you able to stay alive? Conclusion. While these 7 sorts of women are charming, they pose serious danger if you decide to stay with them. Do not disregard these indicators. Just because a wise guy understands that if he marries the wrong lady, his future aspirations and serenity might be shattered. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you thought it was useful. Keep in mind that true love is all about harmony, development, and collaboration. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.